All right, gang, here we go. We're dealing with the implementation of the system at this point. So we've planned it, we've designed it, we've developed it. Now here we are, we're rolling this thing out. And there's a lot of things that we need to take into consideration when it comes to rolling it out or implementing it. Now, the system already exists, and we've got to figure out how is it that we need to implement this. Are we going to implement it as we're turning off the old system today and the new one will start tomorrow? Are we going to have them run parallel for some period of time? Now, there's cost associated with doing that. So we need to understand the cost associated with it and what takes place when it comes with this running simultaneous systems. All right. Something else that we need to look at when it comes to the implementation of our system. Now, you remember early on I talked about when we're doing these interviews with the frontline employees, the ones that are dealing with the system on a day-to-day basis. All right. Those people are the ones that are going to interact with this and ensure that it works the way that it's supposed to, give us feedback if there are any issues, and if we got them to buy in early on, they want to help us ensure the success of this program, or this solution, I should say. Okay. Now, as it's being integrated into their day-to-day life, we're documenting what's taking place, and we're testing to make sure, are these things doing what they're supposed to a degree. Okay. Now, we've got to consider that it may not be working the way that we want it to. So we're consistently going through, we're training, making sure the managers and users know how to use the system, and ensuring that it is being used in the way that it's intended or designed. Okay. Now, training can be cumbersome, and it's something we should have looked at early on. So as we're developing the system, we need to be documenting and developing these training manuals or modules as we go. So that it's not, oh, now all of a sudden we need to develop the training the same time that we're rolling this thing out. Okay, there's different ways that we can go about training the users on using the new system. There's interactive training, face-to-face meetings. We can have videos, lessons, much like what we're doing here. And the big catch is migrating the data from an existing system to the new one can be problematic at times. It all depends on how much planning we did and how effective this is going to be. Now, some systems don't play as well as we'd like with others. And as long as we've looked at what it's going to take, we're prepared for this. Okay. So changing from one to the other, we're dealing with direct cutover, parallel operation. Do a little pilot test in some instances where it may be just one office or one district, and then see if that worked. All right, we'll roll it out to the rest of them. Or it could go in phases. Okay, here's an example of direct cutover. Now, this can be problematic in that it's an all or nothing deal. You turned off the old system, and now You got all your eggs in one basket with this new system, and just hope it works. Parallel, you've got costs of labor and two systems running and dual data entry. Pilot, old system, new system, and some people are doing the new system. And phased, you work it in. Right. Parallel is the highest cost, lowest risk. Direct cutover, lower cost, high risk. A lot of times you'll see people lean here. I prefer to lean with a parallel operation because these solutions are not cheap, and I don't want to cut corners at the end when it comes to implementation. Getting the buy-in of these people and having it go smooth is critical to the success of what we're doing. Okay. Things that we need to do after the fact, once we've implemented it, we need that feedback. We need to check and make sure this thing's reliable, maintainable, doing what it's supposed to be. Communicate with everybody almost on a daily basis to make sure it is doing what it's supposed to do. There are a number of reports we're going to have to submit showing and documenting what's taking place. Okay. Create a final report to management, and we've still got one more chapter, and in many cases that's one of the most critical phases. I'll be looking back on what took place already. Okay, so see you in the next chapter.